All right. So if you would please grab out your worksheet for built-in cross-product strategy. All right, it says determine the most efficient strategy and then solve for the missing value. Remember to ask yourself these questions. Can I easily scale the ratio up or down by a scale factor? Can I easily calculate the unit rate and then use it to find equivalent ratios? Okay. And remember, unit rate, it is a number over one or a number out of one. Okay. If you answer no to both questions, it might be helpful to find cross products. So let's take a look. Number one, jelly beans cost $2.60 for 8 ounces. How much would it cost for 4 ounces of jelly beans? All right, so I'm going to set up a proportion of money over ounces. So I know that I have 260 over 8. I'm going to set this ratio equivalent to 4 ounces over unknown amount because that's what I'm trying to find. All right, I see that I'm going from 4 to 8, so I'm going to divide by 2. What I do on bottom, I must do on top. So I'm going to divide the top by 2. Let's go over here and do our long division. 2 goes into 2 one time. 2 goes into 6 3 times. And then 2 goes into 0 0 times. So for 4 ounces of jelly beans, it's $1.30. Letter B is asking, what is the unit price of jelly beans? Which means I want to know how much is 1 ounce. All right, I'm going to keep my ratio of 260 over 8 ounces is equal to unknown amount over 1 ounce. I know that 8 goes down to 1 by dividing by 8. What I do on bottom, I'm going to do the same thing on top. Now I'm going to have 8 divided by 260. Well, 8 doesn't go into 2, but it can go into 26 3 times. 8 can go into 20, 2 times? That's 16. I have 4 left over. I'm going to add another 0. 8 can go into 45 times. Now, with money, I have only 2 place values behind, so I'm going to round to the nearest hundred. So I see that 5 is bigger, so I'm going to round 2 up to have 0.33 cents. Okay, or you can see it written as $0.33. All right, letter C, how would you use the unit rate to find the cost of 12 ounces of jelly beans? Well, I'm going to take my unit rate and I'm going to multiply it by 12. Okay, because I know that that is for 1 ounce, and if I go from 1 ounce to 12 ounces, I'm going to multiply. So let's go here off to the side. So 12 times 0.33. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 1 is 3. Done with the 3, I'm going to add my 0 as my placeholder. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 1 is 3. Now that I'm done, I'm going to add everything up. 6, 9, and 3. And then I've got to bring my decimal. I see that I have 2 place values here behind the decimal. So I'm going to take my decimal here and I'm going to move it 2 times to the left. And for 12 ounces of jelly beans, it is $3.96. Okay. How much would it cost for 10 ounces of jelly beans? Let's explore using a common denominator to determine your answer. So you can do the same thing that we did for letter C. Or what you guys can do, since you know that it is 33 cents for 1, and I want to know for 10 ounces, what you're going to do is multiply both the top and the bottom by 10. So I know that the bottom is going to be 10. And then let's do our math right here. So 0.33 times 10, 0, 0, placeholder, 3, 3. And I have 2 place values, so I'm going to have $3.33. And I set my proportion. Well, if I multiply by 1 here, I'm going to multiply by 1 here. So $3.30 for 10 ounces. Okay. All right, number 2, as a general rule, 50 ounces of punch will serve 6 people. How many ounces of punch will serve 9 people? Okay, we're going to set up a proportion, and I'm going to have ounces over people. So I'm going to have 50 ounces over 6 people is equal to unknown amount of ounces over 9 people. Well, I can't take 6 into 9. but I can simplify 50 over 6. And I know that 50 over 6, I can divide by 2 on both top and bottom. Well, 50 divided by 2 is 25, and 6 divided by 2 is 3. Okay, I can go and scale up now. I can go from 3 to 9 and multiply by 3. What I do on bottom, I must do on top, so I'm going to multiply by 3 on top. Well, 3 times 25 is 75 ounces. Okay, think of money. 1/4 is 25 cents. Well, now if I have 3/4, how much is it worth? 75. All right, number 3. Arturo run 20 miles in 5 seconds. At this pace, how long will it take him to run 75 meters? So we're going to set a proportion and use cross products. All right, so I'm going to have 20 meters over 5 seconds is equal to 75 meters over unknown amount of seconds. All right, when I use the cross product, you may or may not have heard it called butterfly method. I think one school probably taught that, but this is our cross product. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the number on the bottom of the first ratio and the number on top of the second ratio, and I'm going to multiply those two numbers together. Okay, so I'm going to do 75 times 5. Well, that's 25, 35, 36, 37. Okay, to have 375. Now that my ratios are set equal, even though I'm using cross product, I still need to have them set equal to each other. And then I'm going to take the top number and the bottom number of the second fraction, and I'll multiply these two together. So 20 times x, or you would see it written as this. That still means 20 times x. Now I need to solve for x. You guys should have learned this last year. We are going to do the opposite of what we see to get x right here by itself. So I see multiplication, so I'm going to do division, and I'm going to divide by 20 on both sides. And I'm going to get that x is equal to 18.75. I used my calculator to help me out with this one. All right, number 4. Julia had 68 seats in 4 rows. If there are 90 rows, how many seats are there? So I'm going to set up a ratio of 68 seats over 4 rows is equal to unknown number of seats over 90 rows. Okay, well, I know that 4, it could probably go into 9, but we don't know it, so we're going to use cross product again. So I'm going to do my cross product right here. Okay, so we're going to start with 4 and x. So 4 times x is equal to 68 times 90, and I believe that's 6,120. Okay, let me double check here. 68 times 90 is 6,120. And I'm going to do the same steps here. My goal is to get x by itself. Well, I see multiplication, so I'm going to use division. And I'm going to divide by 4 on both sides. And once I divide by 4, I'm going to get 1,530 seats. All right, for number 5, for each problem below, determine the most efficient strategy for solving the proportion, scale factor, unit rate, or cross product. All right, well, pencils to pen, what strategy? I'm going to say that I'm going to use scaling, because I can go from 3 to 24 and multiply by 8. And what I do on bottom, I'm going to do on the top. So 2 times 8 is 16. So I got 16 pencils. Well, number 3, I'll go for 10 to 100. So that was pretty easy too. So I'm going to use scaling here. So 10 times 10 is 100. And then 6 times 10 is 60 girls. Well, 9 to 21, that one's not pretty easy. So let's go ahead and use our cross product so we guys can get used to it. Now up here, I did bottom to top equals top to bottom. Well, you guys can do the same thing. So let's watch. 3 times 21, that's going to be 63, is equal to 9 times x, which is 9x. And look, I'm going to divide it again. So 9 divided by 9, or 63 divided by 9, and that's going to equal 7. All right, and so what we used was the cross product here. All right, And then number 4, let's use the cross product again. Let's start with the top down to the bottom right. So 8x, let's write cross product. Okay, is set equal to, well, 30 times 5 is 150. Okay. Get x by itself, I'm going to divide by 8 on both sides. To get x is going to equal, let's see, 150 divided by 8. And I use my calculator to help me out on this one too, because that one's not nice, is 18.75. If you have any questions, please let us know.